Welcome to the discussion. Today, we're diving into this intense piece that links the Epstein factor with harrowing stories from Gaza and the US.
I'm really intrigued by this. It brings together such disturbing narratives, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's like a narrative connecting dead children in Gaza with abused ones in the US. And it wields the idea of how multiple tragedies can be
Yeah.
interconnected, even if it feels methodologically provocative.
Right, that provocative edge is hard to miss. So, how do you see this comparison sitting with the overall political commentary being made?
It's definitely charged. The content, coming from a known interview by George Galloway, argues that while the Israeli regime has been on a downward spiral for 21 months, these Epstein revelations have pushed matters even further into controversy, almost like a tipping point.
I get that. And he seems to suggest that international responses like sanctions from Europe or America have been merely token gestures, right?
Exactly. It criticizes the muted reaction from Western powers, implying that the impact of these revelations has made a dire situation even worse for the regime and the vulnerable children caught in all of this.
So, would you say that it's trying to underscore the failure of international policy to address these abuses effectively?
Yeah, it's almost like a dual indictment, one on political incompetence and another on the systemic exploitation or neglect that leaves vulnerable communities, both in Gaza and back in the US, suffering.
Right, that's heavy. And the title itself, The Epstein Factor, immediately grabs you. It's like using a widely recognized scandal to amplify the shock value of another tragedy.
Exactly. It's designed to capture attention with its shock factor. It utilizes infamous associations to reveal how different types of abuses may be symptomatic of larger power imbalances.
I wonder though, isn't there a risk of overgeneralizing when you bring together such distinct issues? I mean, connecting um, dead children in Gaza and abuse in the US?
Absolutely. That's a valid point. It ventures into controversial territory. What I mean is, it uses these comparison devices to spur debate and, well, highlight systemic neglect, but it does run the risk of oversimplifying each situation's unique context.
Right? There's a delicate balance between sparking important discussions and reducing complex scenarios into neat, albeit dramatic, narrative shortcuts.
Exactly. It's like trying to fit an entire historical tableau into a single metaphor. It forces us to see potential similarities in power abuse, but it might also unfortunately blur the lines of nuance.
Yeah. And what about the role of hashtags here? I noticed the piece uses tags like Epstein, Israel, and even moats. How do you interpret that?
Oh, that's a signature of digital age commentary. It's like using emoji level symbolism. These hashtags are meant to, unify disparate injustices into a single viral message, a sort of shorthand for outrage.
Yeah, it feels like a call for people to quickly align themselves with these issues, almost like a digital rallying cry.
Exactly. And it serves as a reminder that social media can bring otherwise isolated events into a broader dialogue. The shock value is intended to inspire immediate emotional engagement.
But as much as that immediate engagement can mobilize opinion, it might also push some toward sensationalism over nuance.
Right, and that's a key criticism. It's like, while stirring up debate is vital, there's a risk of sacrificing deeper analysis for quick, visceral
Yeah,
reactions.
and another dimension is the political framing. George Galloway is known for his polarizing takes, and here he's very direct in critiquing the Israeli regime while also drawing attention to the international silence.
Yes, his approach here is unapologetically political. He ties the regime's failures to not just local, but global political inaction. It's a reminder that sometimes political rhetoric leaps over measured critique to provoke a response.
And that's where the strategy of linking these tragedies might be seen as both a strength and a weakness, right?
Exactly. On one hand, it's a bold, dramatic way to shine a light on multiple failings at once. On the other, as you noted, it can be critiqued for potentially diluting the specifics of each crisis by bundling them together under one sweeping narrative.
And it makes you wonder whether the political shock approach is truly driving change or just amplifying outrage without a concrete plan for addressing the root causes.
That's a great observation. It's like using fire to spark a conversation. It's undeniable attention grabbing. But unless you direct that heat toward, say, informed policy or aid strategies, you're just burning emotions.
Right, exactly. It's a double-edged sword. The media needs to both mobilize and educate, not just stir controversy for the sake of ratings or clicks.
And yet, in today's charged digital arena, that very controversy can sometimes be what cracks open the door to a more informed debate, even if the initial presentation sacrifices some nuance.
True, but do you think it risks diluting each individual tragedy? I mean, connecting dead children with abused ones could, some argue, undermine the gravity of each situation on its own.
I see that point. While the intention is to highlight a broader picture of systemic failures, it might inadvertently reduce the uniqueness of each tragedy. Like you're not saying they're the same, but you're implying they're intertwined in a web of neglect.
Exactly, and that notion of interconnection is in itself powerful but also troubling because it might obscure unique socio-political, cultural, and humanitarian contexts.
Precisely, it's a bit like trying to compare apples and oranges by focusing solely on their color. Both are fruits, but their contexts are entirely different.
Yeah, and speaking of that, isn't it interesting how these comparisons are used to force viewers to confront the failure of global powers to address abuse comprehensively?
Absolutely. It's a dig at the hesitancy or outright refusal to impose meaningful sanctions or interventions. It questions whether token gestures are enough when systemic malpractices are at play.
But then, one might argue that such a broad critique could be seen as conflating issues that may require entirely separate remedies.
That's a fair critique. While the overarching message is to shake up the status quo, it does risk painting with too broad a brush. It's like calling for reform across the board without delving into the tailored nuances needed by each crisis.
Yeah, and it makes for a compelling yet divisive narrative. Do you think this approach can actually foster constructive debate, or does it just heighten the polarization?
It can do both. The shock factor certainly amplifies polarization, but it also forces people into a dialogue that might otherwise be avoided. It's a risky move. If the conversation shifts towards, say, informed policy changes, it could be productive.
Yeah, I agree. And what about the timing and the context? The claim that the Israeli regime has been in decline for 21 months adds another layer, suggesting that these revelations further destabilize an already fragile situation.
Exactly, it's a multi-layered critique. By intersecting the regime's internal issues with global inaction, it not only condemns a local power structure, but also indicts international complacency.
And that brings us to a crossroads in media and politics. How do these sensational connections push us to re-examine our collective responsibilities?
Right, it's like a wake-up call. The piece is daring us as a global audience to reconsider how power is wielded and how vulnerable populations are often left to suffer silent neglect. It's a challenge to rethink institutional accountability.
For sure. And while the method might spark debate, it's ultimately up to us, the critical consumers of this media, to sift through the rhetoric for substance and pursue the necessary concrete reforms.
Absolutely, it leaves us with a lot to mull over, urging us to look beyond the sensational headlines and commit to thoughtful dialogue and actual change. Thanks for engaging on this complex journey today.
Thanks. And until next time, keep questioning, keep digging, and stay aware.